Glenn Beck.
You have the people who are engaging in some of the most hateful things I've ever seen in our nation. I mean, we all have. We've seen hateful things. But I haven't seen a core group of people that are engaged in more hate than they are right now. Just stay on the budget. Let's go to, who is this guy from MSNBC?
This is Dylan Ratigan's fill-in, I guess. Jimmy Williams.
Okay, from MSNBC. Now, you have to, he's going to say something in it. I hope it will stick out to you. He's going to say two words in this, and you ask yourself, how often do you have to use this phrase in your life to be comfortable as a fill-in guy on a national broadcast to let this just come out of your mouth like it's no big deal? What? I didn't know that. Is this hate speech? Listen to this.
Jared, this is Jimmy Williams. One person is controlling the agenda of the United States of America right now, and his name is Grover Norquist. Grover Norquist was Newt Gingrich's butt buddy. He was Jack Abramoff's close friend and laundered money
Stop
from
just
Native...
a second. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever used the term butt buddy before. It's a nice term. It's an endearing term.
Classy.
Very classy.
Yeah.
I believe
for vitriolic, homophobic hate speech, very classy.
Yeah, I believe
that goes.
I believe
you know?
so.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, if someone on the right side of the argument were to use that phrase, it would be vitriolic hate speech.
If I use that phrase today, it would be vitriolic hatred of homosexuals.
Yes,
that's all it would be.
Yes, it would.
Now I don't want to protest this guy. I don't even know this guy's name. I don't really care. I really don't care. But again, there's a double standard, and you need to be aware of it. And stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. Square your shoulders. Stand up. They've been taking something that I've said completely out of context, and they're trying again to destroy me. Give it your best shot, gang. You tried to get me out of the mainstream media. Be careful what you wish for. Because now I've got a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week network. Oh, wait. In a year from now, you'll pray for me to be part of the mainstream media. You'll pray. Bring it on. I am not afraid. If I go down, don't worry. I'm doing my damnedest to make sure there are 30 million others exactly like me who will never sit down. Bring it on. I'm telling you as a listener, don't you dare be afraid. They will say all kinds of things to you, and they won't even make sense. Listen to this from a guy who was standing at the Tea Party in Los Angeles. Now, this is an African-American. Listen to the lies that he is saying.
What is it you don't like about the South Central LA Tea Party?
Okay, well, first of all, the racism is one of the main things. That's the main thing. Okay. Now,
why do you think it's racist?
Well, it's racist because you hate the president because he's black, and you think the white race is superior. So that's racism. Okay.
Yes, sir.
These sellout Negroes have no business speaking for and joining with racists who want to kick them back into slavery. Why would you do that?
Where have you seen any
450 years.
Where have you seen any display here? Anybody talking about sending blacks?
No, they're not talking. They're too dumb to talk. All they're talking about is Tea Party, white supremacy, blacks go back to Africa. America was better 400 years ago.
You've heard that here?
Of course.
Okay, stop. Do you hear this? This is ridiculous. I've never heard anybody but a KKK member. A KKK member, which my daughter was very young when I first saw a KKK member in my streets of one of the towns that I lived in Connecticut. And I saw him on the corner, and my daughter was very young. And I rolled down the window and I said, "Go home, idiot." And my daughter, and I remember thinking, shouldn't have done that. My daughter's in the car. Last night I was talking to my daughter about something. And I said, "Honey, this is going to cause all kinds of problems if I say these things. I'm working on something for the next for the coming days." And I was so proud of her. She said, "Yes, Dad. Yes, it will cause a firestorm." And I said, "Should I soften it? Should I?" She said, "It is the truth." I said, "Yes, it is." And then she looked at me and she said, "So you don't really have a choice, do you?" I was so proud of my daughter. Do not be afraid. Listen to the hatred of that guy. Yesterday we got off the air. We played that guy who's saying, oh, "Look, they're just talking about blacks go back to Africa and that slavery is better and it's better. You know, America was better 450 years ago." I've never heard anything like that. And I'm walking to my office, and Liette, who is our Mercury Community Organizer, yes, and I say that with pride, our Mercury Community Organizer, came up to me, and she was shaking so badly. She was so angry from that guy. I want to talk to her about it next. She's an African American, and she said, "Please, I have a few things to say to him." So we'll have her spout off here in just a second.
Glenn Beck.
Audio again from somebody who is protesting the LA Tea Party.
These sellout Negroes have no business speaking for and joining with racists who want to kick them back into slavery. Why would you do that?
Where have you seen any
450 years.
Where have you seen any display here? Anybody talking about sending blacks?
No, they're not talking. They're too dumb to talk. All they're talking about is Tea Party, white supremacy, blacks go back to Africa.
Okay, stop. Liette Eaton White is the new community organizer here at Mercury, and she is helping us with GBTV and a little bit with 824. And she's African American, and yesterday she came up to me and she was quite upset. You were shaking, actually.
Yeah, I looked like a disturbed person. I was like,
I thought you came up to me and you're like, "I have got to talk to you." And I'm like, okay. What is your response to this?
He's full of crap, if I may say so. I mean, everything this guy said is false. It's like he got every liberal talking point and lie about the Tea Party and decided to rant it at the camera.
But it's not even a talking point. To me, it's not. I mean, really, the
nonsense.
There's nonsense there. There's nothing even that you can even closely tie to the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken at 2 Tea Parties, a huge one in New York and one in Pennsylvania. At the one in Pennsylvania, there were people there from Georgia who had come up for the Tea Party. Like, if anybody had a problem with my race, they would not go that far to hear me or any of the other speakers, most of whom were African American. At that Tea Party, the speakers were mostly
then
black.
you must, to quote him, you must be a sellout Negro.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I wanted to fit in and sell out, I'd vote liberal like everyone else in my neighborhood.
Why do you say that?
Because, number one, I think it's like over 90% of black people in this country vote Democrat, even though when they're asked about their values, they tend to lean right. Why are we doing that? Because we're undereducated about the political process. We don't know what is actually going to benefit black communities, and we've fallen out of touch with the history of this country and blacks in this country. This man's talking about 450 years of oppression. Let's talk about the United States as a nation. We've only been around as a nation for about 235 years, under this Constitution for 223. And during Reconstruction, there were over, I believe, 21 representatives in the House that were African American. They were all Republican, and they were all from the South. And the Tea Party holds those values. They told those small government values. It makes no sense.
It amazes me, especially when we did. Did you ever see any of the shows that I did on the history of African American history in colonial America?
Yeah, I vaguely remember one of them. And you were talking about, these gentlemen who were black, and they were over there fighting for this country to be free from Britain. And it was amazing to me how the African American history has been erased, and the only thing that's left is slavery, and that's not true. That's not true. Far from the truth. It's incredibly far. He is out, and nobody will ever ask if he is, if he's part of a group or anything else. They'll just dismiss him. Is this what he said? Is this the kind of stuff that you face when you are in a group of African Americans, and they find out that you work for me or you speak at tea parties or anything like that? It's not the norm to find somebody that's angry. You find a lot of people who have questions. But to find somebody this vehemently angry, about anything remotely conservative or related to the Tea Party is rare. But every time I've done a public event, I get hate mail. And the hate mail is usually from liberals, and they throw in every racist thing they can find.
He said that racism is only is in the white gene.
That is racist. that is the perfect definition of a racist. To judge a group of people because of their skin color, and to say that they can only think or act a certain way because of their skin color is racist. So he's being racist against whites. He's being racist against blacks, assuming that we all have to think the same way, and that we can't be a part of a group that is in opposition to the majority, even though, like I said, on values, we're really not. That is in and of itself racist. And if I can, I just want to point out, he's talking about comparing white people, all white people, with Hitler. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about acts of genocide throughout the world.
Hang on just a second.
I've got over 20 countries.
Hold on,
I mean,
hold on just a second.
I could
Her
go on a
name
rant.
is Leanne Eaton White, community organizer for Mercury.